just like that, we are back. The Views from Section 400 Thursday show. We hope you all had a wonderful holiday, Juneteenth, and your commute isn't too bad this morning to work. I hope we can make it a little bit better. It's Brian, it's Jack, and it's Will joining us today. Matt could not make it to today's podcast, so we called Will on from the bullpen to help us out. As we do every Thursday, we're going to start off with winners and losers. We got to talk about the NBA. Celtics bring home World Championship. We'll get into that. NHL, Jack's Panthers, a little rattled. And of course, we'll finish the show with a 4 and 400 in honor of the late, great Willie Mays, the best sports catches of all time. But we'll get right into it. Jack, your winner of the week.
Yeah, this was a tough one. I didn't know if I was going to make this a winner or a loser, because there's definitely a loser in it. The loser is Cameron Brink, but the winner is going to be the freaking boys. You know that all of the Twitter finger, couch warriors, they'd be like, yo, you need anything? You need help with that rehab? Everybody's going to be sliding in the DMs trying to help her. She's going to be, having more time than ever to be on her phone, looking for whoever's next. And I don't know. Let's see who gets lucky, right? So shout out the boys. The boys are the winners for this week. Everybody go hop into Cam Brink's DMs.
It might be a double loser there for Cam Brink. Not only does she tear her ACL, but she's got to deal with the toxicity in those DMs.
I mean, you're just playing wrong if you're not in them. So,
I mean, hey, maybe Shohei will slide into those DMs. We saw that interaction a couple weeks ago.
That was, oh God.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure anybody worth $1 billion is going to make anybody giggle, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But hey, how many billions of dollars, or I guess millions of dollars, has he lost? We've only maybe had the tip of the iceberg with the Ipe stuff. Who, by the way, is going to jail for like 40 years.
Yeah, we'll see about all that. He'll probably get extradited to, wherever, and he'll be fine. He'll be out. He'll be living large in, the Chinese casinos or whatever it might be. But I'm going to get into my loser of the week. It's going to be Jason Tatum. And you might be saying, oh, he just won he just won the championship, the NBA championship. He's still the loser. Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP for his, everybody talks about Jason Tatum all the time. And I know the narrative flipped towards the end, especially in the finals. But Jaylen Brown's the best player on the Celtics team. You got Jason Tatum out here just getting absolutely slandered. Brian, you said it. I didn't believe it, but you said it. When you were saying if Tatum wins this championship, he's still going to get clowned. I was saying, no way. He gets a championship. Good for him. Everybody's going to get off his back. They're not. They're absolutely not. He is being called the corniest dude of all time on NBA social media. So Jason Tatum is going to be my loser this week.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I was listening to some guys talk about it earlier, and they said he just talks in memes. And I think that is kind of right on point there. He tried to remake the Kevin Garnett thing with just the "we did it." And you could kind of see like the 2 seconds after he said "we did it," he's like, wait, I might be able to make a viral clip here. Then he screamed it, and it just did not come off right. And then he, of course, did the Kanye thing, which I thought was fine. Like, people have recreated that all the time.
There was like 4 things he did. He recreated the fucking Kobe picture of him holding it in the bath in the shower.
Yeah, that one's not bad though. I feel like everyone tries to recreate that. Maybe it's just like his ties with Kobe that makes it feel kind of.
I know, but the whole like when he texted Kobe, or like the whole like texting his phone, like I did this for you, and I don't even remember. It's just so corny.
Yeah, I saw a meme where someone photoshopped it with Kobe's response, and it said, "Can you send me Jaylen's number?"
How'd you get my number? But it's been bad.
The clowning for Tatum was not going to stop, and we'll get into more of it when we do the full recap of the series. But Will, I need to hear your inaugural winner and loser of the week.
Winner of the week for me. I don't remember if it was touched up that much on the pod on Monday. I don't think we really ever talked about it. Gervonta Tank Davis. I know this happened on Saturday. I don't really remember if we touched up on it or not, but that fight, I turned that fight on in the second round, and I was watching that fight, and he was going into the 7th round. I had a bet on it. It was him to win round 7-13 or 7-12, whatever the last round is. I turned that on for 6-7 rounds. He was getting absolutely not dominated, but he was not winning that fight. All of a sudden, 7th round came, it just switched. He was 7th round, absolutely dominated. 8th round had that absolutely disgusting knockout. And not only does he go 8 rounds with him, he goes 8 rounds, knocks him out. He goes on top of the ropes and does a backflip for a celebration. Like the guy is, and then there's a video on Twitter, and it was like him in his kitchen, like dancing without a shirt on. He's got like a fucking beer gut, and it's just like this is who boxing, like this is boxing, like this is who everyone's getting knocked out by. It's insane. He's my winner of the week, but he's just such an animal. He just destroys everybody. He'll go 6-7 rounds, toy with them, and then 7th round, 8th round, just turn up and knock the living shit out of someone.
To go 8 rounds in a ring and then do a backflip is some kind of, with a beer gut, is some kind of athletic specimen right there.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It's happened in the UFC, and the head president, Dana White, is like, no, please do not do that. I don't need someone breaking their damn leg or something. I just can see something happening. This guy just fought 8 rounds doing backflips. It's all good.
It's insane.
Loser of the week for me, though, is Jack Fritz. A lot of people probably don't know who he is. I believe he works for WIP for Philadelphia. And I don't remember exactly what was the context of it, but long story short, he lost the bet and he had to go to a Phillies game and then just constantly go there and just do Eagles chants over and over again. As of today, the game today, there was I don't remember what inning it was, but it was like maybe towards the end of an inning, he gets up in the middle of like the Hall of Fame club, which is right next to the broadcasting booth, and he just over and over and over again is doing the Eagles chant, and the announcer is like, "What is happening? Why is there some guy just chanting the Eagles chant when the Phillies are losing right now? This is the worst thing ever." And there's even more videos that came out of it that was just absolutely hilarious. Like, it was just like no one was saying anything to him. It was the most awkward thing, but it was just so damn funny.
Dude, I feel like the one city you can get away with something like that is Philadelphia, though.
And that one time no one helped him at all. And it was just the funniest thing. I was sitting there while I was watching the game. I hear an Eagles chant, and the announcers kind of just like were like questioning it. They're like, that's kind of like what's happening right now. But it's just...
Yeah, Jack, you seem to not like my comment about that only being that only happening in Philadelphia. I'm interested in what other city you think that could happen in.
No, I'm surprised that it happened in Philadelphia. No, I guess what I'm more surprised about is like if the Phillies were losing and that's your time to start an Eagles chant, especially on like the year right after the Eagles absolutely collapsed with a Super Bowl contending team.
Well,
I don't know. I feel like Philly fans would have put a stop to that. Like, stop
this was after a bet.
I mean, he had to do it. He lost a bet.
He lost a bet.
That
no, I understand.
In the rearview mirror. Like, they're already hyped up about training camp.
Are they?
They're thinking about last year. They got Saquon now. Like, we've been dealing with Matt for the past however many weeks talking about how they're the best team in football.
He's already busy replying to people on Twitter about Saquon, so.
Yeah, he's in people's DM. He's in Saquon's Twitter threads talking about how Giants fans hate him now.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. I mean, I still think that if the Phillies are losing, this dude's just being a jerk off. I'm surprised Philly, of all places, nobody came by and put a stop to it, is all I'm saying.
I think, was this at the game today, Will, you said?
Yes, this was today. Yeah,
this was Ranger Suarez was pitching today, and this was the first time his family ever got to see him pitch. And I don't know if they speak a lick of English, so I'm interested to see what his wife thought about that whole situation.
I remember, I don't know if it was I think it was last year's playoffs when he was, it was last year's because he was starting that year. His family was trying to come. I don't remember where. I don't remember if it's.
I think it's Cuba. Venezuela.
Yeah, it's Cuba or Venezuela. They were trying to come up to watch the game and they couldn't because of issues, obviously. So So that would be ridiculous if that was the first game.
Yeah, I think I read it was. But yeah, shout out Rangers for it. Having a great year. And I guess shout out Jack Fritz for losing a bet. But I guess I'll keep it on brand here with the baseball. My winner of the week is going to be instant replay. So the ball strike challenge system has made its way up to AAA. We are now one level away from seeing instant replay in the major leagues. And maybe that's why we saw Angel Hernandez retire this year.
Yeah, dude. The umpiring and social media just calls out all the bad calls that umpires make now. They're under a huge microscope, which sucks for them. But at the same time, they're getting shit wrong. They should be able to reverse that. I mean, I played baseball my whole life. There's nothing like getting up to the plate, taking a pitch that you know is a ball, and the umpire calling it a strike. Totally throws off your whole at bat. And I mean, these guys are professionals. They're major leaguers. They can't let one pitch get to them in the at bat. But punch out pitch 3 feet off the plate. You take that. You should be able to feel comfortable taking that. Umpire calls that a strike on pitch one, pitch two. You're gonna maybe have to swing at it later in the count. Just throws your whole approach off. I hate that. So hopefully we can hold these umpires more accountable. I'd love to see it make its way up.
Yeah, and I do like how they have it be a challenge instead of just the straight up robot umpire for the full game.
That's
I don't know what the time is. I think it's got to be like the tennis kind of challenge where it's pretty quick, but it would I imagine it would just completely negate anything they've done to speed up the game if they made it every pitch where they had to do that. Just adding on to that.
I believe it was only you could do it only. I remember last year because I think it was in single A or double A last year, and they didn't use it for triple A at the time being. But I remember it was something like you can only use it for one time every at bat, and I think you can only use it like twice or 3 times every inning, half inning, I think.
Yeah, I feel like that would make
And it was
sense.
just a simple tap of the tap of the helmet, and then they review it, and the ump takes for 2-3 seconds, and then it's just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last thing on that, I am definitely in the minority here on this take, but I do miss the days of when umpires had their own strike zones, and some would call it a little more low, some would call it give you a little more off the black on the outside. And I know that's in the day and age of the digital strike zone, that's gone now basically, but I do kind of miss that. I liked that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm with you on that take. I do miss that too. It was just that was part of the game. You got to get a feel. I played catcher for a while. You just got to get a feel for what the umpire's calling, what he's giving to you, low, high, in and out. Yeah, I definitely miss that too. But at the same time, you have to be consistent with that. If you're gonna start calling the outside corner a little bit deeper on the outside corner from pitch one, from inning one, you got to make sure you're doing it in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. Otherwise, it fucks with the hitters. And again, that's the whole thing. You have to stay consistent. I'm happy with doing whatever, if whatever the solution is that Major League Baseball comes up with, I'm sure I'm going to be happy with it. All I care about is consistency.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'll tell you one other thing I do miss. That's Conor McGregor, and he is my loser of the week. So the UFC 303 has just become do I call it a shit show? Do I not? I don't follow UFC enough to where I can confidently say it's a shit show now, but McGregor was kind of the headliner. He's out due to injury. Now, if that's a real injury or if that's just him being hungover and not being able to train enough, that remains to be seen. But we're also missing the co-main event. Help me out with the pronunciation of the name here, Will.
With Kaimaev.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He's also withdrew because he was violently ill. So he is withdrawn from the card. So UFC 303 just got a lot more, I guess, depressing. But I was really looking forward to seeing Conor McGregor.
I'm looking at that now. That's tough. McGregor and Chandler got canceled. I mean, there's still some good fights on here. Pereira's still fighting. He's a freaking dog. Ian Gary against Michael Page should be a good fight too. I don't know. You're right though. It's a little tougher without that big headliner. I mean, he's been that dude for so long. It would have been great to see him back in the ring.
I think the card that they have coming up this week is better than what they have than that UFC card.
Yeah, it was kind of depressing seeing Dana White try to try to hype it up after announcing everyone out. But I can't imagine the timeline's that off. But Mike Tyson just uh, had to suspend the Jake Paul fight that was going to be in July. Now it's in November. You're telling me Dana White couldn't have made a call and gotten Jake Paul to fight on this card?
Okay.
Dude, they
No.
fucking hate each other.
Fuck Paul.
They
Yeah.
hate.
But like that's one way to just get another Dave. Like you would have sold a lot of pay-per-views.
Jake Paul wouldn't fight UFC. He gets a fucking ass kicked. All he knows how to do is box, and he doesn't even know how to do it all that well. And then, exactly. And then on top of that, Dana White has already said publicly multiple times that he will never let Jake Paul fight in the UFC.
All right, well, I mean, it's worth a phone call. I mean, you just lost McGregor.
There's a video of him like fighting an amateur in UFC, and he got his ass kicked. He got thrown to the ground and got his ass choked out.
Yeah, you could have thrown him up there against like Sean O'Malley, and he would have gotten knocked out in 5 seconds. Would have sold a lot of pay-per-views, and it would have been incredible to see him get knocked out in 5 seconds.
He wouldn't do that.
I don't know what you're looking for here, Brian, but let's move on.
All right, fine. Let's talk about another thing that, I mean, honestly, I wasn't looking forward to at all. The NBA Finals ended, and the series was not fun to watch. It was about as Mickey Mouse of a playoffs as we've seen. The Celtics were the dominant team, went 16-3 in the playoffs. Capped it off with a 106-88 win in Game 5. Besides Jason Tatum being a meme, any takeaways from Game 5 of this series?
Yeah, I mean, the series overall, I mean, Kyrie just never found his groove. I don't really want to take too much credit for preying on his downfall. Kyrie is one of my favorite players. I've said it multiple times. I think he's the best point guard in the league. But yeah, I knew this was going to be a tough series for him, and it was. I mean, Boston absolutely shut him down, and he just wasn't there to help out Luka. And I saw this video of the Luka, this year, this playoff run, especially towards the end, and Luka, early last year and in the playoff run last year. Just the comparison was insane. He was moving 3 times the speed last year. And I know he's a pace player. Sometimes he slows it down to mix it up and get fouls and all that. But he was going ham last year. And this year, he was very clearly hurt at the end because he was not moving the way he should have been.
Hurt, and I mean, he slimmed down. But there was kind of this issue with Jokic a couple of years ago where people were calling him fat. And they said he'd slow down at the end of the season, at the end of games. And Luka, we saw him hurt, and we saw him. I don't know if he had the endurance to last a full playoff run because he kind of really just tanked at the end here.
It's just because Jokic is fat. Let's just be real. He is fat. He is he just fair. Somehow just averages almost a triple-double every night. My real question is, what happened to Tim? What happened to Tim Hardaway? That was my whole thing with the Mavs. It literally was just Luka and Kyrie. The third best scorer was PJ Washington, and he would go 2 for 7 from 3 every game. Tim Hardaway, I get it, he got hurt, but I haven't heard anything from him this playoffs. I don't know if he's been hurt the entire playoffs or anything like that, but I heard a crazy stat, something that the last 3 he made was so long ago. His last 3 that he made was back in May 15th or something that, almost a month ago.
Well, he wasn't in the starting 5.
No, I think it's just a case
of
but
even
old.
During the regular season, he was playing 25, 26. He was playing good minutes. Sometimes he would start, sometimes he'd be the 6th man for him, and then playoffs he just disappeared.
I think he's just kind of old now, unfortunately.
32.
Yeah, I don't follow the Mavs.
He's really closely. Only 32?
Nope.
He's 32. I'm looking at it right now. He's 32
That's crazy.
years old.
I feel like he's been around for
He averaged 14 this year, but I feel like in the playoffs he averaged 4.
Because he was at Michigan all 4 years, right?
He played 15 minutes in the series against Minnesota, did not record a point, and he played 12 minutes a game against the Celtics, and for some reason had 1 game where he had 15, and that was it. All 3 other 3 games he did not score once.
Is that game 4?
Yes, the 1 game that they blew them out. Yeah. That's garbage.
Yeah, I mean, that explains it. He just didn't play. I mean, between Luka, Kyrie, Gafford, and Lively, and Who's the last one? Derek Jones Jr.?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
But he was playing like game 3. He played 19 minutes, went 0 for 5 for 0 points.
I
Like I
how
don't
is
know
he
how.
only 32? He's an old 32. Because he was at Michigan for I think the full 4 years, right? He had to get drafted by the Knicks and like he's been around for like a decade.
2013 rookie
Yeah,
year.
so he's been around. And
yeah.
I mean, he probably got drafted when he's 19.
yeah, those knees. I thought he was at Michigan for a long time, but I guess not. But yeah, those knees and yeah, he's an old 32.
We get it.
But thank God this season's over. It's just this whole NBA year, and then so many people agree with this. That this whole season of the NBA was just so awful. It was just so
Yeah,
bad. So many key injuries. So many just games weren't good.
it was horrible and it was hard to predict, as we'll see. Jack, I don't know if you even remember our preseason NBA roundtable, but I asked you guys some questions before the season started. And I think it's about time we
No.
kind of reminisce and look through these because they weren't great, but they weren't horrible.
Okay.
So for Rookie of the Year, I asked you and Matt, obviously, who would win. Matt and I were tossed between Wemby and Chet, and you said Wemby. So probably the biggest layup of them all. We did well. We did well.
That was a slam dunk. We're talking about Wemby.
MVP. You and I said Jokic. Another slam dunk. Matt said Giannis. I won't yell at him since he's not here to defend himself. But probably your best selection in this preseason roundtable, you said your sneaky plays for MVP were SGA and Anthony Edwards, the two breakout
Now,
stars of this NBA season.
I was gonna say I don't know where they finished in NBA MVP voting, but they were, two of the top. I mean, the three people I said, they're three team. Those are the top three teams in a very competitive West this year. So, damn. All right, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one.
And then just hold on, you're going to want to give yourself more pats on the back here because this is our last good one, our sleeper teams. Matt and I gave out the Thunder. Matt also gave out the Pelicans, which unfortunately is Zion with
Oh,
his issues off the court and on the court.
he's fat.
At least they made the playoffs, though.
Yeah, can we even say they did?
Sleeper team.
They got what they
Play
get
in.
swept first round.
Got
Yeah,
swept
the,
in
the
first round.
Smoothie King Center was selling tickets for $7 for game 4.
I was just saying who they had to beat in the playing game, like the Kings or something.
Uh,
The
yeah,
Lakers, I think.
they beat the Kings and they lost to the Lakers. So that it ended
Okay.
up at the 8 seed. So they beat the Kings in
That's
that
right.
7-8 game and then lost to the Lakers.
Okay.
And then, but
And
you also gave out the Timberwolves. So props to you for that. You gave out for your sleeper team.
Oh hell yeah! Beat the defending champs.
Didn't quite get it done all the way, but they were looking like they might.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets ugly. So for the teams that we thought would make it all the way, for the East winner, Jack, you and me said the Bucks, which completely just blew up in our face after the Doc
I
Rivers stuff.
mean, it's not like we're gonna predict those injuries.
Yeah, or Doc Rivers.
Yeah, that's another thing that we will never understand why. I can't even think of the coach's name now.
Who
Who
was
they
it?
ship?
For Milwaukee, the coach that they fired for zero reason and never announced why.
It wasn't
Uh,
Goldenholzer. They got rid of him a
Isn't
while
like
ago.
Adrian Griffin or something like
Yeah,
that?
that sounds right.
Yeah. They just fired him for no reason, and they never gave a reasoning why. It was just like, I guess the team didn't like him, and then they bring in Doc Rivers, and he would just, I don't know. The whole situation over there was so confusing with that.
It had to have been something with Giannis.
Yeah. He probably didn't like Giannis's brothers getting a free ride and that shoved them out. But Matt, I'll give him credit. He said the Celtics. And then for our West winner, this was where it gets real ugly. I said the Nuggets. I also said a disclaimer and said the Mavericks could make it if Luka Magic goes crazy, but the chance of that happening are probably less than Kyrie falling off of the flat earth. So I won't take credit for the Mavericks pick. And then Matt and Jack gave out the Warriors. And then going into our finals picks, I gave out the Nuggets to win the finals, and Matt and Jack said the Golden State Warriors, who missed the playoffs this season, were going to win the NBA Finals.
They missed the playing game altogether, didn't they?
They
They did.
fell apart.
Yeah, they fell apart towards the end of the year. I thought, I think me and Matt were both predicting that this was going to be the end of their run, and they needed to get it done this year if they were going to get one more in. And obviously, that did not happen. Their collapse came early on in this season. So we tried to hang on to the ship a little too long, and we went down with it. It's fine.
I mean, you went down with it, and Klay Thompson has unfollowed the Warrior on Instagram now. He is working out for the Bahamas national team. I guess his parents are Bahamian. Is that the correct term for
I think
Uh,
so. I think it is.
All right. Well,
It is
he's
about
working out down there with DeAndre Ayton, Eric Gordon, and one other
Buddy
NBA
Hield.
player, Buddy Hield. Yeah.
Yeah,
So look out for the Bahamas in the Olympics. That's a team we missed in our who can beat the U.S.
Klay
They're not beating
Thompson.
the U.S.
Yeah, they might make some noise in the tournament.
Oh
Clay's
God,
gonna have to drop 60 a quarter.
I don't know if he's even at the point in his career where he can drop 6.25 anymore.
Oh, stop that.
you know if Ricky Rubio is still active for Olympic basketball? I know
No,
he
I think
retired in the
I think he
NBA.
retired from basketball altogether for
Uh,
mental health reasons. So I doubt he's playing.
a few days ago, I went down the rabbit hole of like games where like Ricky Rubio will drop like 30 for Spain.
Dude, that
Dude, I
Spain
got
team was
I got a
dirty.
lot of respect for Ricky Rubio. A lot of
There's
respect.
so many players that played in the NBA that were just like, all right, like good. No, I mean Ricky Rubio wasn't. He was decent in the NBA, but nothing crazy. And then you go to the Olympics and drop 30 a game. It was just
I
so like
mean,
out of pocket.
yo, Ricky Rubio was nice with it, all right. I honestly I think you're undervaluing him a little
Oh no,
bit.
he's the king of the 10-10s. You get give him 15 and you get like 15 points, 8 assists, 9 assists a game.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
small Ben Simmons,
Okay, that's fuck that dude.
but just with longevity, and he could shoot better. He
He's a
was a
better.
better Ben Simmons. I'll say that he was a better
Well,
Ben Simmons.
Ricky Rubio had a much better
anyone's better
career
than
than
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but just in terms of like the stats they put up, like he would always put up like 8 to 12 points, like 10 assists, a
Yeah,
couple steals.
he's got the stats for it right now. Totally.
I guess while we're on the topic of world basketball, I'll address this real quick because I'm sick of seeing the TikTok and Instagram comments. So the Celtics, as every NBA team does after they win the NBA Finals, tweeted out a graphic that said 2024 World Champions. And now that we're in the era of basketball being a global sport and the EuroLeague being competitive and the US not just cakewalking their way through the Olympics like they did in the 80s and 90s, the people from countries other than the United States have to point out the fact that they're not technically world champions because they didn't play in a world tournament. And their main argument for that is they're not playing teams from the EuroLeague or the CBA or the NBL. But two, some of the best players in the NBA aren't American. You just made your point right there, you fucking idiots. The best players
Yeah.
in the world play in the NBA. If we wanted to have, I think FIBA does they call it an intercontinental club tournament or something. If the NBA wanted to compete in that, I'm not going to say they would win every game by 40 because the players probably wouldn't care. But if they cared and if they competed in that, they would win by 40 because the best player in Serbia plays in the NBA, the best player in Greece plays in the NBA, the best player in Slovenia plays in the NBA, the best players in Spain have played in the NBA for years. So get over yourselves. They're the world champions. They're the best team in the world. Get over it, America.
This all
Don't
started with oh God, who was it? There was a video of him getting interviewed, and it was such a cringy video.
It was
Was it
the
Trey Lyles,
track
was it?
run. I think it was a track and field runner.
It was like or it was like him getting in like a press conference, and he was like, "World champions? Like I'm an NBA player, but like, we're not world champions of anything. Like I love the United States, but world champions? Come on!" Like that whole went on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
It's just
that's dumb shit. As Brian said, the best players in the world, from Slovenia to Spain to France and wherever else, come to the US, to the NBA, to play in the NBA, get the massive fucking contract, play the best basketball there is. That's why you get to call it world champions. Look, the best player in baseball, Shohei Ohtani, is from Asia. So, I mean, look, all these guys come from all over the world to the US to play in these, American leagues. That's why we call it world championships. You don't hear people calling what is it, Major League Soccer, the MLS, when they win a title over there, they don't say world champions. They don't. Trust me on that. They don't get to say world champions. But baseball, basketball, football, yeah, we're gonna take that crown. Hockey too, right?
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
all the best
I mean,
players in
I'm
the
pretty
world
sure
for
we have
hockey play here.
I'm pretty sure every last name I look at is like some Russian dude or like Polish dude, like in the NHL. Like, where is Bob Borowski from? There's no way that guy's from Florida or like North Carolina. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not wrong. But yeah, I mean he made the point exactly right there. The MLS isn't calling themselves world champions. We know. We're self-aware. And the fact your argument, listen, your take can be fine if you want to say they didn't play teams from around the world, so they can't call themselves world champions. Whatever, that's a true statement. Cool. But if every single supporting argument you have towards that take is objectively wrong, your original take is wrong. So that's where I'll end that. Noah Lyles, what a guy. I wonder if he'll be competing in Paris. Maybe he got blackballed. I guess next up, Jack, your Panthers are going back to Alberta. Not great.
It's fine. Fine.
That's all you got?
Yeah. I mean, we're still up 3-2 in the series, right? It's fine.
Yes. I think tomorrow's graphic's going to have to be your face photoshopped on that picture of the dinosaur sitting at the table with all the fire around him, saying it's fine.
I was gonna say the picture of like the person with like that's like crying and they have a mask on and it's just a happy face.
Maybe we'll have to do a compilation.
Look, it's fine. I say that 10 toes down. It's going to be okay. The Florida Panthers are still winning the cup. Don't worry, Brian. You don't have to defend your Pacific Northwest bullshit. Dang in Florida.
You know what? Matt's not here. I said the West Coast, and I make the rules. It was my take. I said there was a radius around the epicenter of where Russell Wilson threw the interception. So I get to make the rules. I get to make the boundaries. I'm rooting for the Oilers. Connor McDavid, did you just leave?
Keep going. It's all right. Keep going.
Connor McDavid scored 2 goals last night. I know one was with an empty net, but the first one was pure, just like hockey porn. It was beautiful. Connor McDavid is going to lead the Edmonton Oilers to a title in the Pacific Northwest, which is fine because I didn't say Pacific Northwest. I said West Coast. So my take is not ruined. I'm done. Good time.
What Jack said earlier is great clip potential, by the way.
What did I say?
You just said, I'm not worried. It's all right. It just has great potential.
I'm telling you, you look worried. Like your face, you look worried.
Brian, I always look worried.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Kachuk did have a cool save with the empty net.
That was cool. I mean, it did get followed up with the Connor McDavid goal like less than 2 seconds afterwards, but it was still insane. And look, that's the level of effort that the Florida Panthers are given. They're going to win the series. Don't worry about it.
And then a minute before that save, they had a shot that just went off the post. That was maybe like this close from going in.
Yeah, when would a hypothetical game 7 be? So game 6 is tonight. So game 7 would be Saturday? Or no, they have to travel. So is it Saturday or Sunday?
Monday. Game 7 would be Monday, June 24th.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we wouldn't get. Well, I guess if it goes 7, we'll get your reaction on Monday's podcast. But then people will have to wait till Wednesday to see your soggy sorrows or jubilation.
Maybe we could push it back to that one day.
We could.
Yeah.
If they win game 6, obviously.
Or do we have to go live?
If the Oilers somehow, some way end up winning game 6, you'll get a more thorough analysis from me for game 7. It won't just be we're fine, we're winning. I'll give you why we're winning, and it'll help us win.
Okay. All right. So for now, it's fine in Florida, but we'll see what happens in Canada before the gears start turning in Jack's head. But I guess before we get into our 4 and 400 since I made fun of you, I'll make fun of myself a little bit here. I gave out Croatia as my Euro 2024 future, and through 2 games, they have 1 point in the group and a negative goal differential. So they are not looking like they are going to get out of the group stage.
Yeah, they're like the team that's like I'm trying to put it into like NBA. Honestly, they're similar, not maybe success-wise, but like similar to like the Warriors right now, where they were good like a few years ago, but now everyone on the team's just getting old. Like Modric is still
Yeah.
good, but he's not going to give you 90 minutes. And they just who are their games against? They were games against. I'm just going blank right now.
Well,
It
they
was
tied Albania today, and they should have won. That was it.
oh yeah,
They choked it at the
against
end.
Albania and
They got pumped by Spain in the first
that's right.
round.
Yeah, they lost like 4-0 to Spain. So like it's depressing. It's depressing because like I mean 2 World Cups ago they were literally in like the World Cup final.
Yep.
Or maybe not the final. I think it was maybe the semi. I don't really remember, but I know they made it ridiculously far in the 2018 World Cup, I think it was. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I guess I was just, I mean, Jack talked about it earlier with the Warriors, just hoping for one last ride. I guess that was my thinking with Croatia. But Jack, you gave out France, I think, right?
I did give out France.
Yeah, it's
And Mbappe, a broken
broke his
nose.
nose.
Dude, the injuries are just killing me.
And they almost lost that game to Austria. Like it was like they didn't really like dominate in that game. Like first half they did good, in the second half they played like shit. They barely scraped out a win in that game.
Which is
Actually, I don't
crazy
even think they
because they're
technically.
loaded.
Yeah, no, they have a loaded team, and it's crazy because they didn't even really score a goal. They scored it was an own goal. They had a lot of chance. Mbappe missed the easiest goal I've ever. It is like incredible. You will never see Mbappe miss that easy of a goal ever in his life, and he just missed it. It was the most wild thing I've ever seen, especially for someone
Yeah.
like him.
It's like watching Luca go 0 for 2 on a pair of free throws. It's like, what the fuck did I just have? What just happened?
It's brutal.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said off recording that dear Book It with Trent, the Fade God, placed a wager on France in that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
well,
put and Belgium, who also had a horrible loss to they lost to Slovakia. They were a minus. Belgium was probably a minus, like for them to win or draw or just win. I mean, for them to win was like minus 210, and then for them to win or draw was like minus 800, and they lost to Slovakia, and it really wasn't close. I mean, they had a lot of chances, but like they should not be losing to Slovakia. I think it was the biggest upset in the European competition history. Like it was just ridiculous, and of course I had money on them. Thanks to Trent, the
yeah,
fade god.
yep. Shout out Slovakia. Shout out friend of the program, Dan Maxian. Some big Slovakia ties. But I bring up Trent because my
Such a weird
Mets
pull.
my Mets have been on a barn burner lately, 8 in a row, and of course Trent puts a wager on the Rangers tonight. And as of the third inning, the Mets are down 1-0. So thanks for that, Trent. I just I
What I'm more confused about in that game right now is the Mets don't have a run, the Rangers have a run and don't have a hit.
Yeah, that's the Mets. They're back to the old
Did they
Mets.
walk 4 people?
I haven't looked, but probably.
I mean, Manaea did walk 3,
Oh, there
so
you go.
3 and I guess an error. No, they don't have an error, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Unless
it's
unless they walked 3 and it was a fielder's choice and they just got the run, I guess.
probably what
Which
happened. They're going back to the old Mets. He makes one bet, and now they're back to the old Mets. But anyway, if you haven't read my blog about Grimace and what's going on with the Mets right now, do it on viewsprotection400.com. Shameless plug right there. And before I had to get that in because we are wrapping up. We're at the end of the show, and we got to get into the 4 in 400. So, of course, Willie Mays tragically passed away at the age of 93. I guess tragically might be the wrong word. He lived a great life. But the oldest Hall of Famer is now a 90-year-old shortstop whose name I'm forgetting. So I'm sorry to you. But Willie Mays is no longer the oldest living Hall of Famer. But, of course, one of the biggest highlights he ever made in baseball, that over-the-shoulder World Series catch, incredible. So to honor him, we are doing the best catches in history.
Matt's not here, so Jack, you go first. Brian, you go second. I'll go last.
Okay, that works for me. I was
That works.
gonna give you the choice, Will,
Yeah,
as the
I'll
new
go
guy
last.
here.
I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, a lot of ways I can go with this, especially knowing that I'm picking right in front of Brian with the first pick.
You're not gonna
Um,
take. You're not gonna take it.
So, as much as I would love to take one of the many Giants all-time catches, I'll let Brian have it. I'm gonna go with one of the more unbelievable plays and unbelievable catches I've ever seen, the Stephon Diggs Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah,
An interesting choice.
I mean,
like impacts, like
but
yeah,
like
it's got a
the
big
play,
impact.
It's a huge
yeah,
play.
but the
It's an
play,
insane
yes,
play.
but I don't know if the catch was that impressive.
Is that what we're doing this on? Like how insane the catch was?
Yeah, it's the best catches of all time.
Okay, then you know what? Then with the first overall pick,
No,
I'm
you
going
already
with
said
the
it.
Odell catch. Going with
Okay,
the
you can
Odell
have the
catch.
Odell catch. You can have the
That's
Odell
fair.
catch.
That's fair.
Going with the Odell catch because I know you're gonna go with like a fucking David Tyree, like, oh, look at what I can do.
That's exactly what I'm going with. I'm taking David
Yeah,
Tyree.
such a hard catch. No, it's about the play. It's about the play.
He caught it on his helmet. That's never happened.
Yes, it has.
Show me another helmet catch.
So I'll have the double. So this is the easily, in my opinion, the best catch in NFL history is Santonio Holmes' catch in the corner of the end zone in Super Bowl 43, I think it was. No,
No, it would have
yeah,
been.
I don't remember the Super Bowl, but
Yeah, no,
Santonio Holmes.
43.
It
Because
was
it was
43.
after the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, Santonio Holmes game-winning touchdown in the corner of the end zone, and then after Santonio Holmes, I'm gonna go with another Super Bowl play. Was that weird in between the legs catch from Julian Edelman in
Mm-hmm.
the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl that like somehow he caught? I don't remember. Like it went through his legs and he, like barely caught it. Like I was the weirdest catch I've ever seen. But
Yeah.
both teams won a Super Bowl basically off of it.
Yeah, I had both of those on my list. The Edelman one's crazy because he came out in interviews and said he ran the wrong route or he ran a bad route and he like had to come back to the ball because Brady thought he was going to make it harder and it just worked out. So he doesn't even like the catch. But yeah, that one was crazy. I remember watching that one with a fraternity house full of Falcons fans and they were not happy. But yeah, I had both of those. Ooh, I am gonna go with. Do I want to bring this out of my bag this early? I am. I'm gonna go with SEAL Team 6 catching Osama bin Laden.
I mean, sure, fuck it. What the fuck?
Okay.
I mean, sure. I guess I'll let you have that.
All right. If that's where we're going with this, Brian,
Oh,
I'm
fuck.
following that up with deadliest catch.
We already
That's a
went
good
down
one.
we already
With
went
the
down the
crabs.
rabbit hole of
You got
the
got
whole.
two.
We already went down the rabbit hole of the best dads of picking Adrian Peterson and Tyreek Hill. Now we're doing this again. Seriously.
All
I
right.
had to follow it up in style.
You
So
got another one.
So who?
Brian greased the runway. I just slid down it.
So who? What's your two, Jack?
So my first one's going to be deadliest catch with the crabs, and my third overall pick is going to be Calvin Johnson's Georgia Tech catch, the one where he's running across the field, stops on a dime, explodes backwards, makes a one-handed catch as he's getting fucking speared through his back. Just an absolutely insane catch.
Yeah, it's a good one. There's a lot you can take from Calvin Johnson's career.
A lot.
I could even try to one up you here. Because there was a catch he had on I don't know if it was Thanksgiving, but he caught it in the end zone over three guys.
Mm-hmm.
I could go that one. There's another one on my list that I'm thinking about. And I kind of just want to get a baseball one in there because at the end of the day, this is about Willie Mays. So I'll go with the Mike Trout jump man home run robbery his rookie year in Camden
Against
Yards.
the Orioles.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. It wasn't the one I was thinking of, but that was a good one. Okay, so the one I was thinking of is probably the classic, the Jeter diving into the stands and making that catch over the was it over the tarp and like going into like the third, fourth row of the stands?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
something absolutely ridiculous.
Flipped over.
Yeah, like most ridiculous thing. And then I gotta throw in a Philly one, obviously, because I am all Philly. Um, Brian, you might remember this. I'm pretty sure it was him. It was Ben Revere in I want to say 2013 against the Reds. He had the most ridiculous diving catch I've ever seen. I forget what year it was, but it was something.
I
He
remember
was
him making nice
crazy.
catches.
It was it was against the Reds. It's the best catch I think I've seen in just in a game. I want to say it was in 2013. It was in 2013, but it was that catch is on there.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go Aaron Rowand when he broke his nose going into the chain at CBP. That's what
Yeah.
immediately came up.
Yeah, I mean I can't.
Yeah, I could be a homer here.
There's the Jason Avant one catch against like Tampa Bay, like
Yeah, that's
very
a good
old.
one too.
Classic.
I could be a homer here, but I already was a homer with the David Tyree pick. But the Andy Chavez catch is great, but I can't really put it on because they ended up losing that game. So I'm between two. One's a real catch, and then I have another one that's not an athletic catch, but it's a great catch. No, I'm gonna go with Chris Hansen when he tells someone to take a seat.
Wait. What?
Every time he
Say that
catches
one
a
more time.
Chris Hansen when he tells a predator to take a seat.
How a catch?
To catch a predator.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. I don't.
Okay. The fact that Mario Manningham's catch got left off this list is pretty sad, especially when there's a Giants fan here.
I think the throw is better than the catch.
Are you shocked it's still on the list? We're just naming TV shows at this point.
We're
not even naming catches.
For that play, the throw is what kind of makes it for me.
It was an unbelievable catch too.
It was a great catch too, but like when I think of that, I think of the throw more than the catch.
Well, I could go with that as the last overall pick, and I probably should go with that as the last overall pick, but I'm gonna go with and end it with Magic Johnson. Thank you.
All right. We'll probably have to do a little parentheses AIDS under that one.
I have to edit this too. Just stupid. I have to listen back to this twice. Fucking ridiculous. Like the graphic is just gonna be what is the fucking graphic gonna be? It's just gonna be the most autistic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
It's gonna be the most catches. People are gonna look at it and go, "What the fuck is this?"
Share it with your friends.
Yeah, sure, I guess. Brian, there's no way you thought of like all of this shit before. Like this had to happen just because of Jack's pick, right? Or did you have all this?
I had it all on there.
The Magic Johnson was definitely a last second pull for me.
I had Santonio Holmes.
Well, you said Diggs first.
What?
You said Diggs, and then you said fuck that, and then you picked Odell.
Well, yeah, because I thought that we were talking about like some of the best catches is in like plays. Like
Yeah,
that's why. Like
think
like when I think like some of the best catches of all time, like I'm not thinking like what the most insane grab was. Like I'm sure D Hop or like Justin Jefferson has one that we never talked about, but I was just thinking like most impactful ones, like the craziest ones, most memorable ones. I mean, David Tyree, Mario Manningham.
I'm not giving you shit
Diggs.
for it. I'm just saying we started there and we're ending at TV shows now all of a sudden. That's all I'm saying.
We're ending it with Magic Johnson.
My point. we went from catches to TV shows to AIDS.
Oh, we're talking about a Hall of Fame Basketball player. What are we talking about?
He
Why are
probably
we
had
bringing
some
up
cool
AIDS?
catches in his day.
Catch AIDS. You're not talking about him as a player. You're talking
It's
about him catching
it's
AIDS.
all up for interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, shit, dude. I don't know why your mind's going there.
That's what was first said between you two.
Do you have
I didn't
a
say anything.
Do you have a specific season of Deadliest Catch you want, or just the show in general?
Moving on.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up on today's show. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. I know we went a little more off the rails than we normally do, but hey, that's what it's all about up in section 400.
Yep, can't wait.
That's all I have. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Kentucky got fried.